All right, I will admit that I am a little late to the WestWorld party, but hey, I'm at the party and I'm so glad to be here. So the backstory on this, so many of you guys have asked me to watch WestWorld, and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't really look like my kind of show because I don't like any kind of Wild West stuff. Well, thankfully it's not really about that. So I started binging it and I finally caught up this like a couple days ago and was able to watch the latest episode live, and I have kept myself like spoiler free, theory free, everything. I haven't even watched other people's review videos on purpose because I wanted to have my own thoughts about the show when I started the show. I don't go to Reddit. I haven't looked at the Facebook page. So we had our first ever live chat about this show on my channel, and all that information is down below. So I really hope you can come to the next 3. But I was just blown away with your guys' theories, and I can't wait to see what types of theories you have that you post on this video. I'm like so impressed. I can't think straight, but this week's episode was, oh my God, like I love to be surprised. I love to be shocked, and I love when everything makes sense and it's a really good surprise, not just a surprise because they want to kill someone randomly or something like that. But again, I didn't look at any theories. I didn't try to predict too much myself, but I was seriously shocked with the twist in episode 6. And I know a lot of you guys were smarter than me and felt that you knew that it was coming, but I didn't, and I think that made the moment even better because I didn't suspect it. And so when it happened, I was like, wait a second. And of course for me, when he started looking and saying that one little phrase about that photo, like it doesn't look like anything to me, I was like, oh wait, hold on, what did he just say? And then I knew immediately, like, oh my God, he's a host. Oh my God, he's not real. Which sucked for him because he definitely thought he was real. But let me talk about quickly what I'm wondering about Bernard's future. I mean, essentially, yes, he was fired, but since Ford is kind of running the place, I don't think he's going anywhere. But will he remember that he is a host, or will he go back thinking that he is just a regular human with the son who was sick and died and all of that, obviously, that they have pumped into his memory that didn't really happen? So I'm curious to see what you think about that. There are so many things that we could talk about. I could probably be here for an hour, and I'm not going to do that, but I know we have 3 episodes left. Good news is today they announced that WestWorld was renewed for a 2nd season, so I'm so incredibly excited. But I did hear that it won't be out until 2018, and I'm hoping that changes because to me that's forever away, and I hate that we wouldn't see it at all next year. But some key things that we need to talk about from this episode, I will start off with Maeve. I love Maeve so much. I think she's such a great character, but I'm not so sure where this is going for her. I know Tandy Newton's a big star, and I don't think they're going to kill her off this season. But of course, she is super smart now, and she is in the hosts who actually are a part still of the Westwood storylines. She is probably the smartest one there, at least that we know of. Now she wants to escape, and she's threatening those 2 guys who have been like putting her together and putting her back together, that she's going to kill them if they try to, mess up her plan. So I'm not really sure what she's trying to escape to. I guess she's trying to escape to the real world outside of WestWorld, which is something we've never seen, which brings up another question. And I don't think they've ever addressed this, but if they have, let me know. I'm curious to know the WestWorld headquarters and what goes on there. What time is this taking place? Is it present day? Is it in the future? How much in the future? Definitely don't think it's in the past. But is she going to try to escape to the real world outside of WestWorld? And will she make it? And if so, will we follow her as she makes it? I'm thinking she doesn't make it, but again, I don't think we never see Tandy Newton again. Which brings me to the kind of the storage facility with all of the retired hosts. Now, what I think is very promising about that is that if anyone gets sent to the land of retired hosts, there is a great chance, I think, that they could come back because they keep them intact. So I think if we love any of the actors who get sent there, we know Clementine's most definitely there, and the Abernathy guy who is Dolores's dad, the first version that we knew of, is there. I do have a theory that I've come up with as I watch, which is not that amazing, but I've always been thinking that those hosts will all come back to life, not because the people working at WestWorld want them to, but I think they could come back in a revolt style fashion. So if Tandy/Maeve ends up there, I don't think it's like, oh my God, we're never going to see her again. That's just my thoughts. So Dolores, of course, and William are on their way on the train with Lawrence to find the maze. That's kind of like the underlying objective of everyone in the show, besides finding Arnold, is to find the maze. So now I will take some time to talk about Arnold. I have several different thoughts about Arnold. here's the thing. Let me start off with my different thoughts. Number one, I have always assumed that Arnold was a human like Ford, but I'm not so sure that he is not a host himself. We do know that he made hosts, and we're supposed to be under the assumption that hosts don't make hosts. So was Arnold created by Ford, or was Arnold a person who is a human who faked his death, or who Ford really believes died but who didn't? Or is Arnold a person who was a human who wanted to have immortality, so therefore made himself a host and is still creating hosts? I mean, Arnold seems to be like, I've referred to him as the Wizard of Oz, but you know, in reality, the Wizard of Oz doesn't really have any power. So I would think of him as the Wizard of Oz with power, it seems, unless he's some type of myth. Now, I do not believe that Ford and Arnold are the same person. I think one of the clues we get to that is that we know now that Bernard was being used to track down Elsie, who went missing in the last episode, and it seems that Arnold has her. So if Ford/Arnold kidnapped Elsie, there would be no need to program Bernard to go searching for her. So I think that Arnold is a thing or person that's still out there and that is different from Ford. Plus, I think it would be really boring if we knew all along that Ford was the mastermind and the only mastermind out there, and there was no one else mysteriously lurking about. You know, that's just kind of what I think. But I'm curious to see your thoughts on Arnold and also your thoughts on the maze. And I also want to talk about the timelines. I will not give myself credit for this, but in the live chat that we had, people were talking to me about about there being at least 2 different timelines. And I would like to say there could be at least 3, because we have the storyline with the Man in Black, who I dislike very much. I think he's not a good guy, at least this point in his life. We have him with Teddy, who they're searching for the maze. We know that this guy has been coming to the park for like 30 years at least. We also have the storyline with William Lawrence and Dolores, who are also searching for the maze, but in a different time, it seems, possibly, than the Man in Black. And then I think we have a third timeline going with Maeve in the saloon, which is kind of like the setting that we've got introduced to, but the one, you know, Dolores is no longer a part of that, and Teddy is not either. I want to know what you think about the timelines. And also, do you think when we are in these different timelines, are they all taking place, I mean, obviously they're taking place in different time periods, but how far apart? And another wonderful theory that came up during my live chat that I do not take credit for is that perhaps the Man in Black is someone who we also know from a separate timeline, which of course would be William as an older man. And I love that theory. The only thing that bothers me about that is the fact that I love William's character. He's such a sensitive, good guy. And what has happened to him to make him this monster of a character that it seems to be, unless we're just getting a bad surface version of Man in Black. So I've said a lot of things there, but it was worth saying. Again, we need to point out that Clementine looks like she has been retired, but that doesn't mean we never see her again. I think anybody who's retired has the chance of coming back. I'm really excited about that. But we lose Teresa in this episode, which we'd always been told that the hosts cannot kill humans. That went out the window, although I do think that Bernard is on like a different level of host than, say, one of the random hosts, because I think Dolores is on a different level too. Maybe than, say, Teddy. Like, Bernard is not like Teddy. Like, he has way more intelligence, and he may have a different capability to kill humans and than the other people like within the park. But I'm not so sure that everyone within the park can't kill humans, and we'll have to see how that pans out. We have this new woman coming in who was working with Teresa, who wanted to force Ford into retirement. Obviously, they're not going to get rid of Anthony Hopkins, who is just the greatest. So that's not going to happen. But what happens to this woman who we just met? I don't know. I am just so excited. You know, a lot of shows I love so much, but I just really love this one. And I'm so excited about all the possibilities and where it's going and how we could theorize for 24 hours, and we probably would never come up with how everything's going to pan out in this show. I love it because everything's off limits because it's sci-fi, you know. So if you just found me because of WestWorld, I would love if you would subscribe, or if you've been watching my other videos and saw this, please subscribe, and also thumbs up this video. Again, I will be covering the show, I hope, until the whole series is over. I do love it so very much, but check the down bar. There's a schedule of everything else I'm currently covering. Maybe you watch some of those shows as well, so check those out. But I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you again very soon on my channel. Bye, guys.